Hi, my name is Donna Lima, and I'd like to welcome you to the 14th edition of the More series presented by Maz360. Today we will learn about Android 2.2, also known as Froyo, and how it is now being seen as acceptable for enterprise deployment. In our webinar today, we will talk about embracing the Android opportunity in the enterprise, security and best practices for Android, some of the key new features of the latest Android OS 2.2, otherwise known as Froyo, and finally I will discuss Microsoft Exchange support for Android, including how to connect an Android device to your Exchange server, and also how to wipe the device through Outlook Web Access. 2010 is the year that businesses are confronting how to fully embrace mobile devices. This also drags the IT team into the picture as users bring their own devices into the enterprise without proper IT management strategy and operation. Studies show anywhere from 23 to 56% of employees are currently using their own devices at work. Droids and iPhones are being selected over the traditional BlackBerry and Windows mobile devices. From a recent study, the iPhone surpassed the BlackBerry as the top mobile device, and Android has become the #1 OS. And this is definitely a good thing. Amazingly enough, the business does benefit. Studies have shown employees work 10 to 20% more night and weekend hours when provided a laptop with corporate access. Businesses also save money when an employee brings in their own device, as they are responsible for the cost of that device, and most likely the plan as well. When the same studies come out on smartphone productivity gains, they are likely to surpass the laptop percentages. Because let's face it, we have all sat in the waiting room at the doctor's office or at our own kid's sporting game and pulled out our smartphone from our pocket. We may have replied to an email or went online, but the convenience is much easier than lugging around a laptop everywhere. Have a realistic policy for 2010. Support multiple device platforms and allow personal devices. You likely are already doing this now. With very minimal information, a user can sync an Android device to your Exchange server. Cost savings could also add up as the employee is covering their own plan. Take stock of your mobile devices by implementing a multi-platform reporting and inventory tool. This will help understand risks regarding mobile devices and make informed decisions. The solution should also be extended to your help desk and HR departments. Probably the most important is to require and enforce basic security precautions. This includes requiring a strong password, password expiration, auto lock, and auto wipe if a specific number of failures. Enforce that local encryption is enabled and have the ability to remote wipe. Froyo now has improved software level encryption, with talks of hardware level encryption coming in Android 3.0. Android 2.2 has some key enhancements and features. First, I will discuss the ones more focused on the end-user experience. Performance of the browser has been enhanced using the V8 engine, which enables faster loading of JavaScript-heavy pages. 2 to 5 times the performance speed-up for CPU-heavy code over Android 2.1. Improved memory has been reclaimed by up to 20 times, which results in faster app switching and smoother performance on memory-constrained devices. I can tell you as a former BlackBerry user, recently moving to the Droid X, the browser is about 100 times better and probably the best enhancement I have noticed so far. The new home screen tips widget assists new users on how to configure the home screen with shortcuts and widgets and how to make use of multiple home screens. The phone, applications launcher, and browser now have dedicated shortcuts on the home screen, making it easy to access them from any of the 5 home screen panels. The gallery of the camera allows you to peek into picture stacks using a zoom gesture. Camera on-screen buttons provide easy access to a new UI for controlling zoom, flash, white balance, geotagging, focus, and exposure. The camcorder also provides an easy way to set video size and quality for MMS and YouTube. With the LED flash now enabled for the camcorder, videos can be shot at night or in low light settings. Other features include flash support. Android 2.2 is the first version of Google Android that can fully support both Adobe Flash and Adobe Air, and users can now install Android apps right on an SD card or by using an Android phone's internal storage. Another new function is that it lets users back up and restore Android apps data. Now I will dive into the features that were really geared towards the adoption of Android in the enterprise. Enhanced Exchange support. They have improved security with the addition of numeric PIN or alphanumeric password options to unlock the device. Exchange administrators can enforce password policy across devices. Remote wipe. Exchange administrators can remotely reset the device to factory defaults to secure data in case device is lost or stolen. Exchange calendars are now supported in the calendar application. Auto discovery. You just need to know your username and password to easily set up and sync an Exchange account. This is available for Exchange 2007 and higher. Global address list lookup is now available in the email application, enabling users to autocomplete recipients' names from the directory. Other new features include cloud-to-device messaging. Through an API, a web app on the desktop can now send data directly to your Froyo phone. Perhaps you want to send an address or directions from Google Maps to your handset, for example. Clicking a button on the desktop version of Google Maps will do just that. Portable hotspot. Certain devices like the Nexus 1 can be turned into a portable Wi-Fi hotspot that can be shared with up to 8 devices. You can use your Android-powered phone as a 3G connection for a Windows or Linux laptop by connecting their phone to the computer with a USB cable or over Wi-Fi. The connection is then shared between the two devices. Please note, while this feature is native to Froyo, carriers can remove it or find a way to charge for it, just not on the unlocked Google Nexus 1. To support Android 2.2 phones, you must be running Microsoft Exchange ActiveSync 2003 SP2, Microsoft Exchange ActiveSync 2007, or 2010. Android 2.2 supports the following Exchange information services: adding Exchange user accounts via an ActiveSync server and enforcement of mailbox policies, synchronizing email using the email app, synchronizing calendar events using the calendar app, synchronizing a user's contacts using the contacts app, and shared system-wide. Auto-completion of email addresses in email from a global address list is also available. If you are running a Microsoft Exchange ActiveSync 2007 or 2010 server, Android 2.2 also supports the automatic discovery of your ActiveSync server using only an email address and a password when adding an Exchange account. Android 2.2 supports the Microsoft Exchange ActiveSync mailbox policies described here. When configuring the policy, other options may work as well, but these have been certified. Require a password. If you set this ActiveSync mailbox policy, users must secure their phones using a numeric PIN or alphanumeric password. The other ActiveSync mailbox policies have no effect if this policy is not set. If you require an alphanumeric password, users must secure their phones using a password that includes both letters and numbers. Number of failed attempts allowed. This ActiveSync mailbox policy sets the maximum number of times a user can enter an incorrect password before the phone resets itself to factory defaults, which is basically a local wipe of the device. 2.2 supports a maximum of 31 failed password attempts for this setting. Minimum password length. This ActiveSync mailbox policy sets a minimum number of letters or numbers for a PIN or password. 2.2 supports PINs and passwords of up to 16 characters. Screen timeout. This is the time without user input before password must be re-entered. To allow non-provisionable devices. This ActiveSync mailbox policy controls whether devices that do not support all of your mailbox policies can synchronize information with your Exchange server. Remote wipe. If you establish a mailbox policy on your ActiveSync server, you can perform a remote wipe of an Android 2.2 phone that has an added account from your server. A remote wipe performs the same action as a factory data reset. It erases all of the user's personal data from the internal phone storage, including information about the user's Exchange accounts, Google accounts, and any other accounts they may have set up on the device. It also erases all application settings and any downloaded applications. A remote wipe does not erase any system software updates the user has downloaded or any files on the phone's SD card, such as music or photos.